Hello friends, good morning. This is Professor Girish Atnikar from Mechanical Engineering Department, Angadi Institute of Technology and Belgavi. I welcome you all for today's session. So today's session will be dealing with module number 3 of Computer Integrated Manufacturing. So in today's session we'll be dealing with problems on line balancing. Right, so the methods of line balancing, what is the purpose of line balancing, that is what we are going to study here in this particular video. Right, so to start with, we require some basic elements before we directly start with the problems. So what are those things that I will study here? We'll just go through that before we start with the problems. So first we need to know what is a work element. Right, so a minimum rational work element, or you can just call it as a work element, is the smallest amount of work that has specific limited objective, such as drilling a hole, adding a component to a base part, etc. Right, it's the smallest amount of the work that can be done and which has a correct limited objective, that we call it as a rational work element or a minimum rational work element. When I say the word minimum rational work element, it simply means that this cannot be further subdivided. Right, it cannot be further subdivided into further small entity. That is what I have written. It cannot be subdivided any further without losing its practicability. Right, so the smallest element is minimum rational work element. Now this is one of the important entities which we require in solving line balancing problems. So that is the reason I have taken it as a prerequisite, and I told you what is minimum rational work element. Next comes purpose of line balancing. Right, so the purpose of line balancing is to achieve distribution of total workload as evenly as possible among the workers or the workstation. Right, so either both workers or the workstations are not overloaded. Right, so that is the main aim, or you can call it as the main objective or the main purpose of line balancing. Right, so there are various methods which help us to achieve this. So we will be studying each of these methods one by one. I just listed down the methods for you. Methods of line balancing: a largest candidate rule, we call it as the LCR; Kilbridge and Wester method, known as K and W method, or sometimes it is known as KW method; a ranked positional weight method, which is abbreviated as RPW method. So these are different ways how you can achieve the line balancing. Right, so for today's session, let us be limited to the first particular method of line balancing, that is largest candidate rule. In the upcoming videos, let's go through the other two methods. Right, so let me start with largest candidate rule. Okay, so I have noted down a problem for you. Problem to illustrate the largest candidate rule. Right, a proposal is submitted to replace a group of workers. Following table gives its work elements and predecessor. Using LCR, which is largest candidate rule, balance the line. Right, so what all things are given, let us have a look. So there are 8 work elements. TE is time required to complete each of the work element. So 1 minute is required to complete the first element, 0.5 minutes is required to complete the second work element, and so on. And predecessor is if this work element has any previous activity or a predecessor. Right, if 3 is having predecessor as 1 and 2, it simply means that work element 3 cannot happen, or it cannot be done unless and until 1 and 2 is done. Right, so that is what is the meaning of this. Fine. Similarly here 3 and 4 for work element 6. What it means, work element 6 cannot be done unless and until 3 and 4 are completed. Right, so that is what is the meaning of predecessor. Now let us check out what all things he has asked us to calculate. The demand rate for this job is 1600 units per week at the rate of 40 hours per week. Calculate and construct the precedence diagram. Determine the number of stations required to balance the line and determine the balance delay. Right, so there are 3 things he has asked us to do for. In the first case we need to draw the precedence diagram. In the second case I need to calculate the number of workstations required to balance the line, and in the third stage I need to calculate balance delay if any. Right. Now let me start with the solution part. Now there are some prerequisites which are required, which I need to calculate before I start with the actual steps. Right. So the first thing is calculation of production rate, which is popularly known as RP, which we are studying from module number 1. Right. So production rate, let me calculate. Here he has given the number of units per week, or the demand rate is given in the problem, and he has also given the working hours per week. Right. So units per week divided by hours per week, week and week gets cancelled, and I'll be getting the production rate RP, which is 40 units per hour. Right. Since my element time is in minutes, so I will be converting this production rate also in minutes. So if I want to convert hour into minutes, I'll divide it by 60. 40 divided by 60 gives me those many units per minute. If I simplify, it becomes 2 by 3 units per minute. Now, since we have been studying from module 1 as well as we have studied in module 2 that cycle time is the reciprocal of production rate. Right? TC is 1 by RP. So TC is 3 by 2. RP was 2 by 3. So TC becomes 3 by 2. 3 by 2 is nothing but 1.5 minutes per unit. So what it means, to complete one unit or one product, we require a cycle time of 1.5 minutes. That is the meaning of cycle time. Right. So that is the prerequisite which is required. So next we'll be starting with step number 1. Okay, so there is one more prerequisite which is required. First let me go through that. Total work content time. Now total work content time is nothing but you are having various work elements which are given in your problem. In this problem it is 8 work elements which he has given. If you sum up the time required for all the work elements, we call it as total work content time. Right. So there are 8 work elements. I need to sum up all the individual times required for each element. Whatever total I get, that is total work content time, and it is denoted by T to the subscript WC. Right. So if you just go on adding the work element times given in the problem, it comes out to be 6.0 minutes. Right. Next, he has asked us to calculate the number of workstations required. Right. Now minimum number of workstations required. Now this is very important. Right. So minimum number of workstations required is given by total work content time divided by cycle time. Right. So 6 is total work content time and cycle time was 1.5. So minimum required is 4. It doesn't mean that we should not get 5. Right. I am using the word minimum number of workstations. It may be 4 or it may be more than 4. Right. If you are getting somehow less than 4, then you need to understand that you have gone wrong. Right. So this is minimum number of workstations required. So I'll be starting with step number 1. All the work elements should be represented on precedence diagram, because that is the first step he has asked, to calculate to construct the precedence diagram. Now how you are going to construct this precedence diagram? So for that I need to make use of things what he has given in the problem. Right. So if you just check out here in this problem what all things have been given. This is the first table what he has given in the problem. Now you can observe from this table that 1 and 2 are not having any predecessor. Right. It means that nothing is happening behind element 1 and element 2. So it is the start point. Right. If a particular element is not having a predecessor, we need to understand that it is the starting element. Right. So work element number 1 and work element number 2 are the starters. So let me start with that. I'll take this as work element 1. I'll take one more element over here. I will call it as work element 2. Right. So preceding, I have not drawn anything. It means that there is nothing behind 1 and 2. Now let us proceed further. So for 3, if you want to go for work element 3, predecessor is 1 and 2. So only after 1 and 2 is completed, I can go for 3, right? So how you are going to represent that? After 1 and 2, you will be getting a work element 3, right? Now this you are going to indicate it with the help of an arrow like this, right? So 1 is completed, 2 is completed, then you are going for 3. Next, for work element 4, the predecessor is 2. So after completion of 2, you can go for 4. So I'll show 4 somewhere over here. After 2 is completed, I am going for 4, right? Now next, just check out for work element number 5, predecessor is 3. So for work element number 5, predecessor is 3. So I'll show it somewhere over here. Right. Next, for work element number 6, predecessor is both 3 and 4. So what does it mean? Only after I complete 3 and 4, I can go for work element number 6. So if you just check out the diagram, 3 and 4 are already done. Next I can go for 6. Right, so I'll show work element number 6 over here. So this is how you need to show. After 3 and 4, you are directing it to work element number 6. So work element number 7, the predecessor is 4. So where is 4? So this is 4. So if this should become predecessor, then 7 should come here at this point, right? And at last you are having work element number 8, which is having 3 predecessors, 5, 6, 7. So if you just check it out, 5, 6, 7. So your work element number 8 should come at last, such that it is preceded by 5, 6, 7. Right? So this diagram, what I have constructed from the data given in the table, we call it as precedence diagram. And above these circles where I mentioned the work elements, I will be writing the element time, right? So if you just observe from table what he has given us in the problem, work time or work element time for element number 1 is 1.0, for 2 it is 0.5, for 3 it is 0.8, for 4 it is 0.3, for 5 it is 1.2, for 6 it is 0.2, for 7 it is 0.5, and for 8 it is 1.5. Right? So I hope things are clear. You got to know how we are going to draw this precedence diagram, right? So it is entirely depending upon whatever input data he has given us in the problem. Depending upon that, I am just going to draw this precedence diagram. Then respective element time, I am just going to write upon that element. Right? You just need to encircle it and you need to write the work element time. So that is your first step, that is drawing of precedence diagram. Next, step number 2 would be arrange all work element times in descending order. Right? Arrange all work element times in descending order. So that will be your step number 2. So if you just check out the first input what he has given us in the problem, the table what he has given us in the problem, there you are having the same 3 columns, element time, which is TE, and precedence. Now in second step I need to rearrange column 2 in descending order, right? Descending order, that is highest time value should come first. Highest time value should come first. So if we just check out, 1.5u is highest. So 1.5u, it comes on work element number 8. Next, if you just check it out, it is 1.2. Next you are having 1.0, you are having 0.8, 0.5u. Once again you are having 0.5u, 0.3 and 0.2, right? So these are the work element times in descending order. You please write the respective precedences as well as the element number, right? So wherever there is 1.5 in the original table, whatever are there on the left and right side, you just copy the same boxes, right? So here it is 5, 6, 7. Here it is work element number 5u, precedence is 3, element number 1 no precedence, element number 3 precedence is 1, 2. Next you are having element number 2 no precedence, element number 7 4 precedence, element number 4 2 is the predecessor, and element number 6 3, 4 are the precedences, right? So things are simple. I have not changed anything. I have just arranged these column 2 elements in descending order, and respective element and precedences I have just copied it from the box which is given to me in the problem, right? So that would be your second step. So the last step, which is very important for us, okay, step number 3, allotment of work elements to the workstations. Keeping in mind, there are two criteria which I need to keep in mind while allotting the work elements. So those two are precedence, and there is a condition which I need to keep in mind, that is summation of work elements at that particular station should not exceed cycle time. Please be careful. I repeat, while allotting the work elements to the workstations, I need to follow two conditions. I need to check out the precedence. It should be strictly followed, and then we also need to check out the second criteria, where the total element time should be less than cycle time. Right, cycle time we have calculated it as a prerequisite, and it is 1.5 minutes. Okay, now let me start. So in order to go for step number 3, I need to make use of data in step number 2, right? Now if you just check it out, I told you there are two criteria. We need to keep in mind the precedences. Now anything which is the starting point will not have any precedence. I hope you agree with me. Okay, a start will never have a precedence because it is a start point. It will have nothing behind it, right? So what should be our start point? Our start point should be 1 and 2, right? Start point should be 1 and 2. Now so what I need to consider here is this. I will give it for station number 1, S1, workstation number 1. Here time is 1. It is satisfying my second condition as well, right? 1 is less than 1.5u. Yes, it is less than 1.5, so this is S1. Next thing is this one, element number 2, because it is also a starting point. Now what is the time required here? 0.5u. So you need to sum up these 1 and 0.5u, right? 1 plus 0.5u, 1.5u. Now it is agreeing, or it is in agreement with my second condition, which is summation of TE should be less than or equal to TC. So here 1 plus 0.5 is 1.5, which is equal to 1.5, which is cycle time. Yes, in that case even this can be given to station number 1. Right? Fine. So we are done with station 1. We cannot give any more elements to station 1. Why? Because if I give any other element to station 1, it will not go hand in hand with my second condition. Right? It is already satisfied because 1.5 is the maximum thing what I can give. I have already given 1.5. Next, we just check out the element where you are having 1 and 2 as precedence, because 1 and 2 is completed now. So where 1 and 2 is there as precedence? Yes, here station number 3 you are having 1 and 2 as precedence, and station number 4 you are having 2 as precedence. Now 1 and 2, it is 0.8. Yes, I can give this to S2, station number 2. Right? Now I'll just check out whether if I can accommodate element number 4 also. You are having 0.8. If I just consider this, because it is having a precedence of 2, 0.8 plus 0.3, it gives 1.1. Yes, 1.1 is less than 1.5. Yes, it is less than 1.5. So I can accommodate this element also on station number 2. Right? So how much buffer I am having now? What I mean by buffer is I have allotted 0.8, I have allotted 0.3, so 1.1 is allotted. Maximum I can allot 1.5. Now you just check out any other element which is having 1 and 2 as precedence. No. Just check out which is having 3 and 4 as precedence, because 3 and 4 also you have already allotted. Yes, here you are having 3 as precedence, but I cannot give this. Why I cannot give this? Because on S2 0.8 and 0.3, 1.1 is already done. Only thing which is remaining is 1.5 minus 1.1, 0.4. That is the maximum thing I can accommodate, and which is possible in this case. 3 and 4 I have completed. 3 and 4 are precedence. Time required is 0.2. I can accommodate 0.4. 1.1 is already available. 0.4 I can accommodate, but here there is only 0.2. So yes, I can take this on station number 2. So total sum of the element time will be 1.1 plus 0.2, which is 1.3, which is again less than 1.5, which is satisfying my second condition as well. Now you search for next element which is having any of these precedences, whichever are allotted. Okay, now which things are newly allotted, you just check it for the first time. 4, yes, here you are having the precedence. 3, here you are having the precedence. Now if you just check out for element number 5, precedence is 3, time required is 1.2. Yes, time required is less than 1.5. Right? When time required is less than 1.5, I will accommodate this on element number 3, because it is satisfying both the condition. Precedence is satisfied. What I mean by saying precedence is satisfied, 3 is already allotted. It means 3 is finished. Next, second condition, your element time should be less than cycle time. Cycle time is 1.5, element time is 1.2, satisfied. So you allot it to element station number 3. Next, just go on checking. You are having 4 as precedence. You are having 5, 6, 7 as precedence. Now I cannot accommodate this particular element because 1.2 is there. Maximum I can allot 1.5, so remaining is 0.3. But here you are having 0.5, so I cannot allot this. right? I need to take a new station. I cannot accommodate element number 7 on workstation number 3. I need to give it to workstation number 4, right? Now here also condition is satisfied. Precedence is 4 is already completed. 0.5 is less than cycle time 1.5. So when both the conditions are met, I have given it as station number 4. Now the only element remaining is element number 8. Let me check out whether if I can accommodate on station 4. No, because element time is 1.5. What I can accommodate is only 1, because 0.5 I have already accommodated. So there is no way that I can accommodate it on station number 4. So the only way how I can accommodate it is with a new station, which is station number 5. Station number 5, right? So that is how you need to allocate these things. Now whatever I have allocated here, I'll be just writing it here parallelly. So station number 1, next you are having station number 2, station number 3, station number 4, and station number 5, right? So these are the maximum stations. Now for step 3, I am constructing the table now. Work elements. So work element which come under station 1, how you get? Wherever there is S1, so that is work element coming under station 1. So under station 1 you are having S1 and S1, right? So work element number 1 and work element number 2, 1 and 2 come under station number 1. Associated times, you please write it down, right? Associated times for 1 and 2, you are having 1 and you are having 0.5. Here it is 1, here it is 0.5, right? At last, summation of these two should be less than 1.5 or equal to 1.5, right? So yes, in this condition it is holding good. Clear? Next, for station number 2. Now once again you go through this. Wherever there is S2, those elements come under station number 2. So 1, 2, 3. So it is 3, 4 and 6. We write it here 3, 4, 6. Associated times, please note it down, 3, 4, 6. What are the associated times? 3 is 0.8, 4 is 0.3, 6 is 0.2. If you just sum this up, you are getting 1.3, which is again less than 1.5. At last, you need to write the work elements allotted for station number 3. Just check out where you are having station number 3. Here you are having station number 3. Work element allotted is element number 5. Time required is 1.2. Here also it is 1.2, which is less than 1.5. Station number 4. Here is station number 4. Station number 4, work element allotted is 7. Time required is 0.5, which is less than the cycle time. Cycle time is 1.5. And at last there is only one workstation which is allotted with element number 8, right? Now time required for that is 1.5, which is equal to 1.5. So here it is 0.5, here it is 1.5, right? So that is how you are going to allot things. Clear? Now once again I repeat, because this part is important. That is the reason I am stressing on this part. Once if you go for step number 2, if you arrange it into descending order, you are going to allocate these S1, S2, S3, S4, S5 depending upon 2 conditions. First condition is it should follow the precedence. Second condition is the sum of the element times on a particular workstation should be less than or equal to cycle time. If both these conditions are satisfied, then I am going to allocate it with those particular stations, right? So you be careful. Once again, go through whatever I told in this video. Next, the last step, which is balance delay. How to calculate balance delay? Okay, to calculate balance delay, you are having n into Tc minus total work content time divided by n into Tc. Okay, cycle time Tc I know it is 1.5, total work content time is 6.0 minutes, which I calculated as a prerequisites. Now n is number of stations, so number of stations I'll get it here in step number 3. So therefore number of workstations is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So you can just check out, minimum number required was 4, but here in this particular problem, after using LCR method, we require 5 workstations. So it's not mandatory that it should be only 4, it should be equal to or greater than 4. That is the reason I have used the word minimum number of workstations required. So this value is nothing but value of n. Okay, that is what I am going to use now. Step number 4, balance delay. So D is equal to n is 5 into cycle time is 1.5 minus total work content time is 6 minutes divided by 5 into 1.5. So if you just check out, you are having 7.5, so it is 1.5 divided by, okay, so it is 20%. Right, so whatever you get here, you can multiply it by 100. So balance delay is 20%. Okay, what does it indicate? So balance delay simply indicates that even after doing all these things using LCR method, after using 5 workstations, if you are getting a balance delay of 20%, it indicates that there is an imbalance in the line. Right, now it is not further possible to balance this line because of technological sequencing and because of some other delay in the line. I repeat, balance delay of 20%, this you need to write it as a comment, so please follow what I am telling. Balance delay of 20% indicates that there is an imbalance in the line. There is an imbalance in the line. Hence, it is not possible to balance the line due to technological sequencing, and delay in the line. Right, when I say delay in the line, it may be due to frequent breakdowns or some maintenance issues. Right, so that's it. Thank you. Please share with your friends. Do subscribe my channel, and for any kind of doubts, please drop them in the comment section. I'll be replying to those personally. Thank you. Have a good day.